I know that is a big part of what made you such a star.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. And then the other one was,
I'm getting so much love.
We're going to stop for a second because this one is so distracting.
York City.
Everybody has a story. Remember, do things that make you smile. Hi, I'm Monique Mannon. Now, tell me your story.
Never ever let life hold you down. Tell me your story. Don't worry, be happy, down, upside down. Tell me your story. Motivation, inspiration, uplifting and giving. Tell me your story. Inspiration, motivation, it's your life, so keep living. Tell me your story. Never ever let life hold you down.
Hi there. Welcome to Tell Me Your Story with Monique Mannon. This is the first episode. I'm so excited. This has been over a decade that I wanted to do this. Elan Carter Price is going to interview me. And I started this show. It started out that I wanted to do honor to dancers that I looked up to, that inspired me. And they were not getting the sunlight, the sunshine on them. So this is why I start doing this. And also because I am a health and wellness advocate, and I start getting testimonial stories, just talking to people. I find that everyone has a story. So that's why the show, Tell Me Your Story with Monique Mannon. And it's for inspiration, it's hope, it's love. And here's my Coco, my darling Coco. And I hope you enjoy it. And hi, Elan.
Hi, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, this is an honor that I get to interview you because I know this is this is what you do. But this woman right here is one of the people that I looked up to in the business. You know, whenever I would see her, you know, she was so busy working when I began in the industry that if I couldn't get the job, if she couldn't get the job, I would get the job. I'd have to wear the same hair. But I want you to tell me your story. I want to know, and people don't know this, you will know because you've got a very famous scene that you have on a show that we will talk about. But tell me your story. Where are you from?
Okay, I'm from, I was born in Suriname, South America, and raised in the Netherlands, and then moved by myself to New York, and then LA. So for me, the journey started, I started dancing at 4 years old in Suriname with Gerda Samdam is her name. And then my parents got divorced, and my mom literally, divorce was final at 12 o'clock, got on the plane 6 o'clock to the Netherlands because all her family was there. And then we moved. And thank goodness, Gerda Samdam moved to the Netherlands as well. So at 6 years old, I went back to dance class, and I asked my mom, right? Because it was interesting. I was like, Mom, where did I get it from to start dancing? What did you wanted that for me? She was like, no, you were always dancing, and you asked at 4 years old that you wanted to go to dance class. And so it's always been in me. And then at 6 years old, I continued to take my dance class, but at 12 years old, when I got a scholarship at a youth ballet academy in the Netherlands, my mom looked at me. She said, you know what that means if you do this, right? That means no more playing outside. That means you have no free time for yourself. That's it. She said, nope, I'm fine with that. I want to do this. Because I had to take a bus by myself at 12 years old to go 30 minutes away from my small town to the city called Arnhem and to take my dance class there. And I wanted it.
You want it.
I wanted it.
And it starts at a young age. You know that's what you felt like you wanted to do.
I knew it.
So I want to know how you ended up in New York. That's what made your career just shoosh.
Yeah. So at the dance academy that I was at, they had a dance competition. And, you know, they had the ballet Point Shoe Divas and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm not that great with that yet. So I did Tina Turner, Proud Mary, Rolling. And me and the ballet dancer one ballet dancer. We shared first prize, and the dance teacher, the master, the dance master, he was like, "Now that's performing," and that's when I knew this is what I want to do. I want to perform, and because it felt so good, it felt so good. And then the second time was like 4 years later. I won 3.5 years later. I won a dance competition for Saturday Night Fever dance competition.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did.
That's cool.
I danced on Disco Inferno. Burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno.
They don't want us to sing.
Oh, yeah. and the prize was a trip to New York. So I was on the age. So my dance teacher, Benjamin Felixthal, he came to New York with my dance partner. And he went with us. And I saw Alvin Ailey perform. I saw Sarita Allen, Maxine Sherman, Marilyn Banks, Gary DeLoach, and on and on and on. And I was just like, OMG, this is it. And then I saw West Side Story, Debbie Allen. Oh, my goodness. And then I saw Bob Fosse's dancing. Oh, I was like, okay, I must. And I saw Dreamgirls. And I fell in love with Loretta Devine because she was just everything. I gotta shout
I
to you,
love
baby.
that voice. She's my favorite.
her.
And so you came up also at a time where there were the greats.
Yes.
You know, you go to the Alvin Ailey, the Debbie Allens. I mean, that's when there was like really a big thing.
Right,
so that was
right.
perfect timing. And you're such a performer.
Yes.
You know, a lot of times, you know, you walk into a room and you go in for an audition. It's one thing to be able to go and do the lines and be good. But when that person pops is when they're just a performer and they stand out. And that's just, you're still like that.
And you know what? And let's be completely transparent. There is hundreds of dancers out there that are much better dancers than me. Technically better, higher legs, whatever. I'm not the best dancer out there. There's tons.
But you
that are
gave
better.
them something.
But I got the performance.
Right. You got the performance. And
Yes.
that's what they want to
And-
see. Showmanship, too.
And that's what I want to say to the young dancers out there. It's like, yes, get the technique. Yes, work on your lines. Work on the pirouettes. Work on all that. Work on the extension. And once you got that down, then perform. Work on enjoying it,
Yes.
really loving it. Because if you love it, if you enjoy it, the people watching you are loving it and enjoying it.
So, what was your first gig that made you really know that you made it?
Oh, easy. Prince.
I remember that video.
Look, but you know what? In all honesty, I really didn't until he passed away, to tell you the truth.
Really?
No, because I never talked about it. I still have friends that didn't find out until they saw an interview. They were like, that was you? There was only one friend of mine from the Netherlands that called me. She said, I know those legs anywhere. Those are your
I
legs."
knew right away.
See?
I always tell everyone, that's my friend. That's my friend doing that.
But most people didn't.
Really?
They did not know. No, they didn't know. And a lot of people didn't find out until he passed away. They were like, that was you?
Well,
was always my
that's why
reaction.
you did the Tina Turner, because you got those legs.
No, it was
See?
just so energetic. It's
I know,
you know what I mean?
but you have the same, you have those beautiful legs. So what advice would you give someone? I know that you've done some, let's actually go into the Coming to America scene.
Okay, so I have a great story for that one because I want to go back to, because you remember when we were, in the midst of it all,
Yeah.
I knew already from young on that, okay, I cannot just do dance.
Mm-hmm.
I got to have additional stream of income, right? So that's when I started modeling. And that's, going to apple boxes to make me look taller. And that's when I also start acting, because it was like, okay, if I don't do one gig, I do another. So they have a saying in Los Angeles, right? Oh, dancer, actors, model, whatever, right?
Yes.
Right?
Look, even I wasn't a dancer.
But I was really doing it.
Right. You did everything.
I was really working. So anyway, I wind up with William Morris Agency, even though, because I was working a lot commercially as well. And William Morris was not the strongest commercial agent, but I picked him because
They had
it
a name.
instant
name.
respect.
Yes.
Because, you would meet someone and go like, oh, yeah,
Yep.
dancer, actress, model, whatever.
Yes.
Who's your agent?
Yes.
And every single time I go, William Morris. Oh, you're real. I'm like, but I don't understand for the life of me what it is about that the women just didn't get the respect. When it's a woman, when a guy is doing it, doing three things, I was like, oh, he's badass. But when a woman does it, model, actors, dancer, whatever, right? It's like, whatever. And I do not like that.
But what you did have, and which they did not know, is you were a professional dancer. You had the training, you had the background. That's what they did not know. That made you different from everyone else.
That's right.
Why you stood out.
But it didn't matter to them.
Yeah.
It was they still had that label out there, and it was ridiculous. It was so absurd. That's why I'm so happy with all those shows, those dance shows that are out there right now, giving the respect to the dancers, to the choreographers. You know what I mean? That is so deserved. And even so, you think you can, Dancing with the Stars. Finally, the star saying like, oh my goodness, I had no idea it was so hard. It's so hard.
Yes.
Finally giving the respect, and dancers finally getting the recognition that they're athletes. They're not fluff.
Oh, you are athletes.
Yes.
That's what you are. That's why you
Absolutely.
can see by the legs,
Absolutely.
the body structure.
5 classes a day, baby.
Yes.
And I would walk because I had scholarship with Joffrey Ballet, Martha Graham, and Alvin Ailey at the same time. And those were in a triangle in New York. And I would walk to all of them. Joffrey was on 18th Street, 8th Avenue. Ailey was on 50th Street and 7th and 7th and Broadway. Graham was in 63rd Street and Lexington and 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. And I would walk. Girl, I was like this. I was like this.
Anytime you're dancing. So what made you come out to LA then? Because you were dancing.
Oh, this is a great story. So, and I was touring in Israel with Donnie McHale. I was a lead in the show. And I came back to New York, and they were on their 8th callback for the movie Chorus Line with Michael Douglas. They were shooting the movie version of the Broadway show Chorus Line. And I was like, oh my goodness, if I would have been here, I would have been at that callback. I'm going. F it, I'm going. So I went, and in New York, the way it is like they have a table blocking that door.
Yep.
And the woman has the list, the woman or the man has the list, and if you're not on the list, they won't let you in.
Right.
So I believed in my heart and my soul and every pore of my being that I'm supposed to be in that room. And she was like, hi, what's your name? I said, Monique Mannon. And she was like, but you're not on the list. And I'm like, but I should be. And I looked her right in the eyes, and she was like, oh, okay, go right ahead.
Because you were confident.
Yes.
And that just goes back to what we were saying. We say, if you believe in yourself, I don't care what you do.
Right.
You believe in yourself, you can do what you want to do.
That's right.
That's
right. And Jeffrey Hornaday, because he's a choreographer, right? And he could have easily said, wait a minute, I didn't call you back.
He didn't say anything.
No, but he came after I was finished. He came out of the room. And we as dancers, we beat us up. Well, I do. I always focus on the mistake I made, right? I focus on the mistake, and I was sitting there going like, oh man, I messed this up. And he comes up, he goes like, you are fantastic. And I was like, yeah, but. He was like, no, stop.
Take the compliment and just run with it, right?
Yeah, take the compliment, right. So Jeffrey Hornaday.
Oh.
Yes. And so half the cast was from Los Angeles. And oh my God, but I got to tell you about that chorus line, because Michael Jackson would come on the balcony and watch us dance.
Wow.
It was who would come by. It was so cool. And then we would go in the rotunda, they call it. It was like literally because it was a real Broadway theater that we did it in. This is where people go get the wine and blah, 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 big round open space. So they just put the dancers in there. But boy, the party was in the rotunda. And the party.
I can imagine back in the day.
Candy
so much fun.
Alexander showed us how she auditions. She said, yes, I go right up to the table and ass first on the table. I said, trust me.
You already did
remember
that.
me?
That's how you got in. That's how you got in the chorus line.
No, but I didn't go to the table.
Right. No, I know that, but still, you were confident. You knew you got in there.
And then it was the dancers from Solid Gold. They would do the Solid Gold number. Da, 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 da. We had so much fun. It was Broadway divas on the in that movie. It was so much. They would do their numbers of their shows. It was fantastic.
Well, I want to know how you got Coming to America.
Oh, I auditioned for it.
Well, I know that, but were you already back in LA?
No, I was in LA. So after the chorus line, I called They told me, half the cast told me, go to LA. And they said, you got to call Julie McDonald, who's a young lady that started a first dance agent.
Okay.
So I called her up and I said, hey, it's Monique. They tell me that I need to call you. She said, come, I'll pick you up. She picked me up. I stayed at her house for a couple of days. And then one of the other dancers from Chorus Line, Penny, Penny went and got an apartment and I shared with her. And until her husband came to town like 6 months later, who was an actor. But it was gave me enough time to find my way around at my place. And the acting started for me, my first role. So I have to tell the transition because I was doing a dance job. And the dance job was a movie called Rented Lips. It was Robert Downey Jr. was a star. His dad was a director. And we were just treated like cattle. And it's not just that job. It's just all around all the time. The dancers just got treated with no respect. Right? Can we have the dancers, please? No individual name. You didn't get a room like you get as an actor. You just get put in a big space, no chairs a lot of times, and work it out. Right? So then I did one line in a movie. I had a trailer with my name on the door. And then it was like, boom, boom, boom. Miss Mannon, would you like some tea? Miss Mannon, can I get you anything? I'm like, ooh, I like this Miss Mannon. I did.
I can get used to this.
I love it.
Because you got the respect that you've been wanting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, but I did not put the work in for actor.
Like you did with the
dancing. So it just was like, I would get the jobs like that, right? But you know, when you get the jobs and then you're just like, oh God, I don't know what I'm doing. Then you feel like,
I know.
Like, oh shoot, I'm going to be found out any minute that I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, that's what it goes back to what you were saying, an actor, dancer, whatever. Right?
And then so I realized, so most of the jobs that I got in the beginning was because of my personality.
Yeah.
I remember I went to one audition and they said, do you have a monologue? I didn't even have a monologue. I didn't know that you're supposed to have a monologue. So I did a joke. I had them in stitches laughing and they were like, you are hilarious. So that's basically how that was happening in the beginning because it was only one line, a couple of lines, you know what I mean? And then when I auditioned, and then I went through the problem of that I have the accent. They don't know what to do with the accent. You could see them sitting there going like, oh God, where's she from? Where's she from? And they couldn't get it out fast enough. So I became such a horrible auditioner for acting jobs because I got in my head, like, I was like, don't
I know what that feels
pronounce
like.
the words.
Yes.
Don't let them ask you where you're from.
Or be more black.
How
How many times have you heard that one?
Right.
And I don't have the accent.
Right.
But your accent worked in that scene in Coming to America.
Well, that's what, that's what.
Because it's so memorable.
Well, that's why, I'm sorry, I'm so excited. That's why John Landis really wanted me for The Princess. And he was fighting for me, and that's how I got the part, because he was like, okay, I'm sorry, I really wanted you for that. Didn't work out, but here is the boring girl.
But still, even when you see the scenes, and when they, go through all the girls, I was going, oh, there's Monique. I get so excited because your accent, everyone always remembers you. So it did work. It did work for that particular stuff. But I know you've done so many things. I mean, you have a list that just goes on and on. But then you also were smart. You were a businesswoman at a young age. You were investing in property. I remember that clearly. You were buying your own homes. You took that money and said, hey, what advice do you have with people that make money at a young age? Because I remember someone saying to me, invest now. It's not going to always be there.
That's right.
And you don't realize that because you don't realize you're going to get older.
That's right.
And those jobs are going to slow down.
That's right.
So there's always new, younger, fresher faces, and then they're used to seeing. So what advice do you give to everyone as far as when they do make money? Because that's what you do.
Save. Always save. No, there's this financial guru. She has always said, pay yourself 20% first in your account. I did more than that because I was determined. To have my own place. And so I literally would go to rehearsal and bring lunch. People would go to lunch and buy their lunches, buy their this. And I would bring my lunch because I wanted to save money. I wanted to save so I can buy my place. So I bought my condo in Chorus Line in Culver City when I was 19, 20 years old. And because it was important to me to have something substantial, to show I did the work, and it, you know.
And you have something for it. And that was part of the respect.
Right.
Because when people know, like, you're really a legitimate person in this industry because you have something to show for it.
That's right.
You know, so that made a big, difference.
And the thing is, like, because I know a lot of people that made a lot more money than me, have done a lot more job, but they weren't smart with their money. And it's like, and that's one lesson what I want to teach you. It's like, definitely save your money, because you're going to be hot and then you're going to be not. Yeah. Happened to me. It's just the way it is. It's like, you're not always going to be on top. You're not always going to be the it girl, so make sure that you take care of that rainy day, that you protect yourself, because no one else is going to do it for you.
So what are you doing now? Because I know that you're really into the health thing. And
my goodness, yeah, because I got sick for 3 years, and I went on this journey of trying to find a solution. It turned out that it was out of control eczema. And I went trying to find a solution, and I was like, try this, try it. I was like, yes. And, even wind up in the hospital, and they put steroids into my drip system, send me home with a 10-day pill supply of steroids and steroids cream. And that was the answer. And so I got introduced to a natural science, changed my life. And so I have become, an advocate for it, to introduce it to people, to let people know there is another way. There's a way that is healthy, that can help your body heal itself, right?
Yeah. And I know you do the biohacking.
That's it.
That's the biohacking. For people that don't know, they don't know it's called biohacking. And you've been doing this. You've done phenomenal with it.
Yeah. I've been taking this since 2012. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, and the great thing about it is, like, I see people all the time that go like, you haven't changed. I said, biohacking, baby.
I haven't changed to look. I look exactly the same.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I love it. I love it, because it really is a way that you can reverse the aging process naturally.
Yes.
Really. Yeah.
And, I know you have young kids still, so you have to keep up with them.
Yes. My mini me.
Your mini me.
My son, thank goodness, he's out of college. He played football in college, and now he's working in the banking industry. And then my daughter is in high school, and she doesn't want to follow in my footstep at all. She went to dance classes for a couple of years. Finally, she's like, not for me. I'm not feeling it.
She's like, I'm done.
And I'm one of those parents. I'm like, I'm not forcing anything. I want her to find her own way, find her own voice. Mm-hmm. And she loves singing. She does love acting, but she loves volleyball right now. Mm-hmm. Volleyball is her thing right now.
So she can get a scholarship in volleyball.
Yeah, right.
Into the school she wants.
Right. And there's a great story about that, because I am such a perfectionist. Remember, I told you a story with Jeffrey Hornaday when he came outside and gave me a compliment, and I'm breaking myself down because I'm a perfectionist. And my poor child inherited that. So she started playing, but she was so afraid to make a mistake. So afraid that it stifled her. Mm-hmm. And the same thing that I went through with acting auditions. So afraid, because you can make so many different choices.
Yes.
And so I was so afraid to make the wrong choice, and then, the accent not to come out. So I was watching more than really being in the moment, which is supposed to be with acting. But that poor child, same thing with her volleyball. And then all of a sudden, we were in the Netherlands over the summer, and she was watching the Olympics, the volleyball in the Olympics. Mm. And she was like, oh, the top of the game, they make mistakes.
Yes.
Oh.
That's how we learn.
That's how you learn.
Yes.
She's having a blast now.
Oh, good.
She's having a blast.
That's
so it was
good.
a huge aha moment for her.
And it's the social media for the kids.
Right.
And, they don't understand, because what you see on there, they've taken a gazillion pictures, before they've got to that point, and whatever.
Got retouched.
Yeah, everything. Yeah. So they don't know that's all tweaking, and that's just only a part of it. Right. But what makes you happy?
What makes me smile?
What makes you smile? I was going to say what makes you happy, then what makes you smile?
This makes me happy. Being in your company, and I know we're going to go out to dinner and what makes me smile is my kids, my darling Coco, my husband. I'm in major gratitude. Major gratitude. It's like 2020 really put a lot of things in perspective. A lot of heartbreaks. Yeah. A lot of people like yourself, you went through the cancer process. Mm-hmm. Thank goodness you're cancer free.
Yes,
hallelujah.
Yes.
And I've lost quite a lot of people through cancer. Mm-hmm. and or whatever. And then COVID, so many people dealing with people losing their livelihood, people losing homes, their
Yes.
businesses. I was just like, oh gosh, So I ran away and went to Utah for 4 months and just heal my heart, because
Yeah.
it was, even though it wasn't happening to me, but it was just like my heart was just pouring out to all that was dealing with this nonsense. And so my wish for the world, my prayer every night is, please God, heal the world, heal the world.
Yes. And just so we have to rejuvenate everything, get a regeneration of just our being, even though it may not be happening directly to us, just the people around us. It's just, we have to get back to caring for each other. And I think
right.
that's what we're talking about, as far as being just smiling and enjoying each other, because that's healing.
That's healing, right? And and my thing about do things that make you smile, it's really about taking care of yourself, self-care. Because do things that make you smile is a form of self-care, because only eat what you love, what makes you smile. Only be in the company what makes you smile. Only be surrounded by the people that make you smile, or the surroundings, because if it doesn't make you smile, what is the point?
Yes, but I eat too many things that make
Oh,
me smile.
you both and I. We both. So
We eat a lot of things.
So
We
my
always
wish
smile.
for both of us is balance with eating.
Yes.
Don't give it up, but balance.
Because we dance after we eat.
Yes.
Well, this has been such a joy, and your career has been phenomenal. So anyone that knows Monique, and that Prince video, kiss, and those legs.
Yes. Thank you.
Amazing.
And you guys out there, go after your dreams. Here I was, a young girl, and I had my friends. My friends told my mom. A dancer's friend told the parents, called my mom. Who does Monique think she is? There's so many dancers in New York. That she's wasting her time. Blah 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 blah. And it scared my mom. And my mom was like, she was trying to scare me, and she was like, Monique, I'm not going to support you, so you get back here.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, Mom, this is what I have to do. But I was staying in the Vanderbilt YMCA, 227 East 47th Street. And this manager took me under her wing. She gave me a job as the hospitality desk.
It's just one person. It
One
just takes
person.
one person to change your life. Because I call those people non-well wishers.
Yes.
You don't need the non-well wishes. No, it doesn't matter what they think you're not capable of doing, or what you won't be successful. You won't know until you get out there and try.
That's right. And that's why, my mom is my hero. My hero, my Shiro. She is, she's the rock, because she really took care of 4 kids by herself with no help. And she did it all by herself, and she was so supportive.
Yeah.
She was so supportive. Like, for me to have been in New York at that young age, eventually she realized I was serious. At that time, it was guilders. That time it took 4 guilders to get $1. So my mom was sending me almost $4,000 for me to get 4,000 guilders for me to get $1,000 every month.
Wow.
That's my mom.
And she had 3 other kids to raise.
And she had other kids to raise. My mom is
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. I'm completely always indebted to her, because she always did whatever it took. She's that woman, right? When the money was tight, she was like, I don't have it for the outfit. But Mom, I need a book. Oh yeah, here you go. She will find that money. She will find that money if it comes to you growing as as a person. Education, she's all about that. So Mom, thank you.
To all the moms. My moms also too. She's always been encouraging.
So she is all that. She definitely. So when your child wants to pursue something, support them. It's important, because that support is everything.
And it emotionally is so important for them to grow. I mean, we've lived our lives. We've done what we want to do, what makes us happy. Support them.
Yeah.
Let
them find their own way, what makes them smile. Because you see a lot of people that are in professions that they realize, wait a minute, I went to college for all those years for this, but this is not making me smile. I'm not happy with this. So make sure that this is what you want. Because if you do choose that specific thing that you want to pursue, make sure that you truly love it, and that you're willing to make sacrifices, and work your toots off. Work your tootsie off. Really, it takes that. It's not, there's no magic wand to make your dream come into reality. You got to do the work.
You got to do the work. That's the only way you're going to be good, because look at, there's so many people in the world.
Yeah.
Why that person, someone's going to pay attention to you
Right.
out of all these other people?
Right.
Because you have to be so good at what you do. So they go, wow, that's amazing. Like, you stood out.
What? Oh, I got a great story about that. So when I was a youth in the youth program at the Dance Academy, there was this young lady, right? She was not the typical dancer's body. She was, a little bigger. And the teacher would pick on her. We had summer vacation. Do you know that girl came back, slimmed down, danced circle around all of us. And that was a huge learning lesson. So when I started at Alvin Ailey on scholarship, and I was like, okay, who's the best one in here? You. Okay, I got to pass you up. Otherwise, you're going to get the job.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So you do have that drive in you to go after your dream. Right?
To be the best, so you
Right.
can stand out.
Right. And I have to also thank a couple of other people, like Dolores Brown. When I went to Ailey, Dolores Brown was the scholarship director. And I walked up to her and said, hi, my name's Monique. I want to dance with you. And she was like, she's a firecracker. She didn't even know how to respond. She was like speechless. She was like, and then only thing that she could say, well, do we want you? And I was like, yes, I think so.
And it made her pay attention.
Right? And then Denise Jefferson, Elio Pomare, Frank Hatchett. So we all got people that, that raised you up, right? You just don't do that by yourself.
Yeah.
I had casting directors like Shameen Bernard, Monica Swan. When I remember when I was in a casting session for Shameen Bernard, and I'm shaking because I'm so afraid of auditions, right? For acting. And she was like, Monique, sweetheart, sit down.
Yeah.
Sit down. Breathe. So there's still angels out there that want the best for you.
They want the best. They want you to do well. And when
yes.
they want you, they coach you to do well, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Jackie Burge, casting director
I
Jackie
remember
Burge.
her, yeah.
She casted Coming to America.
Ah.
And so she also felt bad for me that what happened with the princess for Coming to America. So she gave me a job. So it was Clayton, that comedian. Remember? Forget about it. What's his name? He had a Vegas run.
I can't remember.
Okay, anyway, it was Fort Fairlane, and he was the lead in it. And she called in. They knew they needed, every different race, they needed one, right? So she called me the only woman of color, because she knew they had to hire a woman of color, right?
Yeah.
And so she was like, this is it. This is your choices. So she basically forced them to hire me. Right. So she looked out for me and then some. And I'm sorry, some of you that I forgot your name, but there's so many people that helped me up on the way, and I'm in major, major gratitude.
Well, that's phenomenal.
Yes.
And this has been such a great story and such a great opportunity. And this is Monique's story.
Yes. Remember, like it, subscribe, bell, so you can be notified for the next show. I have some great guests coming up. Ilan is one of my guests. Her story is amazing. I have Bill Duke coming, Robert Townsend, John Sally Spider, 4-time NBA champion, unheard of. He's the only one I think has done it that has 3 different champions with 4 rings with 3 different teams. So I have this amazing singer that my daughter is obsessed with, Morissette from the Philippines. So it's all about lifting those talented people up and give them their credit where their credit is due, and put some sunshine on them, and introducing them to youth. So I did not know that. You're going to be so surprised about stories about all those people that you did not know, and it's exciting. I'm so happy about that.
Me too. This has been fun.
Remember, do things that make you smile, and see you on the next one. Bye.
He's going to go curl up right there.
Boo-boo.
He,
Oh, look at that. You couldn't buy a better shot than this. Do things that make you smile. Everybody has a story.
York City.
Hi, I'm Monique Mannon. Now, tell me your story.
Tell me your story. Never ever let life hold you down. Tell me your story. Don't worry, be happy now.
Hi there, welcome to Tell Me Your Story with Monique Mannon. I am so excited and honored to introduce you to my next guest, Julie McDonald, who is a pioneer in dance agency. She represented the who is who from dancers to choreographers, directors now. She expanded her business, and I can't wait for you to hear all about her journey and who is Julie McDonald. Welcome, Julie.
Oh, thank you, Monique. I'm so happy
I'm-
to be with you.
This is like bittersweet. You guys, you don't understand. This woman, I was doing a chorus line. Half the cast was telling me, half the cast was from Los Angeles, and they were telling me, oh my goodness, you gotta meet Julie McDonald. She's a dance agent, first dance agent ever. And I'm like, okay. I called you. She picked me up from the airport. I stayed at your house for a couple of nights until I found a place to stay. And all my gigs, all my dance gigs, you guys, boom, Julie McDonald.
Okay, well, let me just say that it wasn't that hard to get you work. You were an exquisite dancer.
Oh, thank you.
No, you were. You worked all the time. I mean, not because of me, because of you. So your talent was, you were a remarkable dancer.
But it also took you to believe in
Yeah.
me and then so to fight for me because you fought your butt off for us. You did.
Oh, thanks.
And I love you for that.
Thank you, Monique. Thank
I
you.
really want you guys to know this is who got me all my gigs. And this woman who fought for me and for other dancers
I
as
gave
well.
her the auditions and submitted her, but she got the gigs herself. Agents can't get the jobs for you, but they can give you the opportunities.
Yes, and you got me a lot. So
Yeah.
thank you for
Well,
that.
Well, my total pleasure working
Yeah.
with you.
Thank you, darling.
Yeah, you were a great client.
So I'm just in awe because here you are. Let's get from the beginning. Where are you from?
I'm from Bellevue, Washington,
Okay.
but I moved to Los Angeles when I was 15
Okay.
with my parents. And I went to high school here in the Valley, Grant High, and I was a trained ballet dancer. So when I moved to California, I kept up my training, and then I started taking some modern dance, and I ended up going on the road with a small dance company, touring the United States, and we went to Hawaii, and I did that until I was about early 20s, and then myself and two other women started a dance studio in Venice called Room to Move. It was an extraordinary
Love the name.
experience.
Love the name.
And that was from 1976 to 1982.
Right.
And that was a remarkable place. It was a time and a place that could never be duplicated.
Wow.
And then
Can you mention like who was part of that group?
Oh,
'Cause
some
I
of my
remember
first
there was-
clients were part of that
Yeah.
group. Russell Clark, who I represented for
who I worked with a couple times.
many years until he passed away.
Yes.
Rest his beautiful soul.
Yes.
And Billy Goodson.
Yes.
And Miranda Garrison. And
Sarah
Elgart.
Yes.
And the Mums. So a lot of those people came with me when I first, they all came with me when I first opened the agency.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that was in 1985. So I spent 3 years kind of wandering around, figuring out what I was going to do with my life. I was teaching dance, various studios. I was doing a lot of part-time jobs just to make ends meet. I mean, everything from plant babysitting to working for my
And babysitting.
watering people's plants and working for my dad in his showroom and working in one of my best friend's factory. She was a clothing designer and they were all hand-painted clothes, so I was hand-painting clothes.
Right.
So I was doing a lot of different things, and I got a job dancing in a commercial, and I busted my knee, and I was getting older already, and I was really kind of at the end of my rope with not knowing what to do.
So then what made the transition? So here you are a dancer, a teacher, open up a dance studio, and what was that calling? It's like,
Well,
you know what? I'm gonna open up a dance
I didn't know
agent.
what I wanted to do, but I heard about this platform. That word wasn't even in the lexicon then. I heard about this intensive program called Impact. And it was for people who thought they wanted to be in the entertainment business, but they didn't quite know what they wanted to do there. So I borrowed $3,000 from my mom. That was a lot of, it's still a lot of money.
30 years ago, 30-some years ago. No, it was more than 30 years then.
Yeah. And I said, I don't know what I want to do, but I have to figure it out. So I did this 3-week boot camp where it started at 5 a.m. and ended at 8 a.m. And if you were a minute late, the doors were locked. So
5 to 8 a.m., 5 to 8 p.m.
5 to 8 a.m.
What?
Because you had to spend your day going after your goal. So the first week was defining what you wanted to do, and I didn't really know anything about the entertainment business. I was like a classically trained dancer. I didn't audition for jobs or anything. My friends did.
Right.
In fact, one of my teachers, Victoria Morris, she was at Room to Move too, and she
was one of the
She was
agents.
my first assistant.
Yes.
Anyway, so I said, well, I'm either going to be a manager, a casting director, or an agent for dancers. So after the first week, I had narrowed it down to being an agent.
Right.
So the second 2 weeks were about getting your goal. And I probably I interviewed with, I don't know, 10 or 20 different agencies, and they all said the same thing to me. Yeah, we'll give you a desk and a phone and take 50% of everything you make, and there's no salary. I kept going to different agencies hoping somebody would pay me a salary, and they didn't. They all offered me the same deal. So then finally, there was a girl in my Impact intensive. Her name is Terry Hanauer, and she said, I'll introduce you to my agent. So she introduced me to Sandy Joseph at Joseph Held Fund and Ricks. And it was one of the top commercial agencies in the entire business. So I said, well, if everyone's going to offer me the same deal, I might as well go to the best agency I can find.
right.
So I ended up there.
But I love that story that you told. There's one agent that told you, like,
I interviewed with, I think it was a model. My roommate at the time was a model, and she introduced me to her modeling agency. I think it was Nina Blanchard, and she looks at me and she's smoking. She goes, honey, you'll never make a red nickel on dancers.
what?
I know. So anyway, I didn't let that stop me. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, but that was also the time when people didn't have respect for dancers.
Well, they didn't understand. Yeah,
They-
no,
you know,
there's-
it's
right.
a whole new time now. Now dancers are hot. Dancers are, influential now. You know, the influencers now.
Exactly,
You know, and that was a
exactly.
different time in back then. It's
Yeah.
like, it's like, I remember I did a dance job, and you could treat it like cattle. Can we have the dancers, please? It was not by name. It was, you just a
Well,
group.
if you worked, the reason I ended up at a commercial agency, because dancers had union contracts in commercials,
Yeah.
and they had union contracts in television, but they didn't have union contracts in film,
Right.
and they didn't have union contracts anyplace else.
Right.
So, but I started out at JHR and was there for 15 years, and that's how I built the business.
Right.
It kept adding more and more departments. It just started out with me, and after I held an audition, put a teeny little ad in Variety that said wanted dancers for representation, and went to Debbie Reynolds, and the audition was given by Russell Clark, Gene Castle for tap, and Michelle Zeitlin for ballet.
What?
And Michelle Zeitlin, by the way, taught at Room to Move too. So
Wow.
she had a children's department there.
Wow.
She's the same go-getter that she is today.
Right.
Remarkable. So 300 dancers showed up. They were all really good. So I pretty sure I signed them
Oh.
all. And that's how I started.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I know, but you have to share the journey, because it was not just I started, because you had to do a lot of writing. I remember you were telling me that one day that you did a lot of writing.
Well, there was no email.
Right.
There was nothing. There was the telephone
Right.
and letters.
Right.
And really what I did was I started picking up the phone and using the connections that JHR offered in casting and with casting directors, and started just letting them know, and then sending out my
Package.
Well, I didn't really have a package then, but just letting people know that next time they were casting dancers to call me. And then I wasn't even representing choreographers in the beginning.
Right.
So, but I started calling up every choreographer in town, and some people were really nice and some people were really threatened. And so, it wasn't that easy. It took a long time before I got my first break, which was Greg Smith decided to give me a chance when he was casting a Olivia Newton-John music video, Let's Get Physical, for Kenny Ortega.
Right.
So that was the first thing that I was allowed to send dancers on. And of course I did really well. I know dancers. That's one thing I know.
Right.
I know talent.
Right.
I can spot talent.
Right. You can smell it.
I have really good, I can see it. I have good intuitions there. And I can just see it when someone walks in a room sometimes.
Right.
So I did really well there. I remember one of my first jobs was Jeffrey Hornaday, who loved.
Jeffrey.
Did you not love Jeffrey? Yeah.
Oh.
He called me for Captain EO that he was doing. It was a Michael Jackson project up at Universal, I think.
I moved to LA just too late, just because I had done Chorus Line with him. Oh. That's how I met Jeffrey.
Oh.
That's how.
Well, that was just all before me.
Yeah.
Chorus Line, right?
Yes.
So Jeffrey Hornaday probably hired like half of my clients for that project.
Because he loves dancers. He loves dancers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So these are the early jobs that I remember. Sarah Elgart, before I was even at the agency, and I was kind of just trying it out at home. She called me. She did a lot of music videos for David Hogan, the director.
Right.
And there was and I was representing Sharon and Karen Owens.
I remember the twins.
The twins.
Yeah.
So that was the first job too, but I wasn't even in an office then.
Right.
After I got to JHR, they didn't give me an office. They gave me a desk half the size of this and a phone.
Little cubicle.
And I spent one day listening to the commercial agents in their office, and I just said, I can do this.
Right.
And then, started and banging on a lot of doors, a lot of rejection. I didn't make a nickel until 3 months later. Joey Toledo got cast in a Coca-Cola commercial.
Residual checks.
Yeah, those were good.
Yes.
Those are still good,
Yes.
but they're not as many as they used to be.
Right.
There's
The good old days.
The good old days in the 80s and
Yeah.
90s. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that is amazing. And so for me, you also are on the board of different. Can you talk about that on the boards that you're part of?
Well, I'm on the board of the American Dance Movement, which is an organization started by Nigel Lithgow and Adam Shankman. And the mission there is to promote dance as a way to enhance everyone's health. So it's tied to health. It's not necessarily tied to performing arts or professionals. It's tied to
them
health
healthy.
for everybody.
Yes.
So there's a connection with American Heart Association through that organization.
Nice.
And and also we give scholarships to various dance organizations that apply for scholarships. A lot of underserved communities and things like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So and then I am an advisor on Dance Magazine, and they call me every now and then. They ask me to comment on this, that, and the other thing.
Right. And then you're also the Music Center.
Yes, a little
Yeah,
bit on the Music
Music
Center
Center,
too.
yeah.
California Dance Association.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. And then you also got honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award by the I have to write it down because I didn't want to miss a beat. By the Choreographers Carnival and Dance Under the Stars Choreography Festival
Yeah.
for pioneering the representation of dancers and choreographers.
Right.
How was that moment?
Well, Carnival, if you've never been, Carnival is kind of wild. It's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dancers. It doesn't start till 11 o'clock at night. And so by the time they honor their honoree, it's like 12 or
Midnight.
and, and dancers are feeling pretty good by that time.
Right.
So you get this really nice honor. They do, show a video, like this was all testimonials.
Right.
But not that many people are paying attention.
Because we're like, girl, yay, yay.
Paula Abdul gave me my award.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah, so that was really nice. Paula was one of my very first clients.
Right.
Yeah.
Worked with her a couple times. Thank you very much.
I bet you did. Yeah, when she, in her early days we started at the same time essentially.
Yeah.
And in her early days as
She
a choreographer.
also loves dancers.
She loves dance and she loves dancers.
Yes.
She is a dancer.
And she has a great eye.
She does.
Yeah.
Without a
she
doubt.
does,
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Well, she does have a great eye. She hired you.
Stop it. But she chose you to be representative as well.
She did.
Yeah.
So.
I
was looking. There wasn't a lot of choice. I did get competition starting in 1987, which I was really grateful for, actually, because it legitimized
Yes.
what I was doing.
Right.
You were either with me or you didn't have an agent, and I couldn't.
she was like the hot choreographer then. She was.
Paula was. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying that when
Yeah.
competition came in 1987, that gave me a run for my money,
Right.
for sure.
Right. Because there was a lot of people that opening up dance agencies as well, right?
Well, the competition was one dance agency. It was Bobby Ball.
Ball, right.
But, yeah, and
They were like, she's making all the money. Let's go dip in that pool
well,
too.
yeah, and then after that, there's like 5 or 6 now.
Yeah. I remember when I was at Debbie Reynolds, I was rehearsing. I don't remember what I was rehearsing for, and Paula was rehearsing for her music video or something. She was rehearsing with some gig because she's always working. And she was like, Monique, listen to my song. And that was her first album. She was so excited. She was so excited to share that.
Well, that first album was brilliant.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And then 2020 either revealed or exposed who you are. What did 2020 do for you?
Well, 2020 was really interesting. I mean, we all vacated our office on March 12th, like everybody else, and decided we were going to work from home. Mm-hmm. Now, I would say the first month, people weren't really working that much, but starting in April, my agency, we were on it. We worked. We kept in touch with our clients. Mm-hmm. We did our best to make sure that they were okay. A lot of them had moved home with their parents, right. Or moved to wherever they could.
Yes.
And but we worked. We stayed in touch. We had meetings every week. And what happened was, prior to that time, my New York office we didn't have a lot of connection to the New York office, but we decided to have meetings with everybody. So we got real close connected
yes.
to the people in the New York office and the LA office, and we got really close and got to know each other.
And got on the same page.
And we got on the same page, and listen, we weren't a lot of business, but there was some, and we worked. It wasn't like we were doing nothing.
Right.
And what I did was I walked a lot. I got in my car and I drove when no one was out in the roads, right. And it was like the twilight zone right. here.
Just to go exhale.
Just to go and drive and see how beautiful everything was when there wasn't all this traffic.
Right.
And I did a lot of walking in neighborhoods I hadn't been in before. I had a friend, and in fact, I started taking pictures of
Mm-hmm.
new neighborhoods of gates, and I got fascinated by gates. And I'm doing a gate book.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Doors
yeah.
are nice too. Yes.
Yeah. See,
Nice.
So I just, so I mean, I would just be walking and driving when there was nobody on the road. I would just drive to drive. There was no
Right.
place to go.
Because before you would drive just to get from A to B, and you're really not taking in what's going on around you.
I would
So you
just
was
get in
really
the car and go,
taking
because
it in.
and I couldn't really sit here. There's no way I could do
Yeah.
that. And I just have to be outside.
Right.
Even our pool was closed in the building.
Wow.
It reopened in the summer with very strict rules, but it was closed for. So it was interesting. I cooked a lot.
Was that a new thing?
No, I've always liked to cook,
But
I cooked a lot.
Are you the takeout girl?
Not too much. I became one after about 3 or 4 months of cooking. I finally went enough. I got to start ordering. But I cooked. I mean, I cooked. I walked. I didn't mind the whole experience.
Yeah, me either.
I just didn't mind the whole darn thing,
Yeah.
And
It just really, for me, it really made me go in major gratitude. I was always grateful, but that really major gratitude.
yeah, me too. I mean, in the sense of course, I was home and watched a lot of news, and just became really grateful for my health.
Yeah.
I know you're really into health.
Oh,
so
you know I am.
I know.
Yeah, that's my passion and
Yeah,
purpose.
yeah.
Who are like some of the clients that you have that they might know and they might?
Kenny Ortega, Vincent Patterson,
Yes.
Jamie King, sort of big names. Marguerite Derricks.
Kenny Ortega, High School Musical, Michael Jackson, Vince Patterson, Michael Jackson, Madonna. So this is some big gigs.
Tell me your story. Never ever let life hold you down. Tell me your story. Don't worry, be happy, down, upside, down.
After working over 30 years in Hollywood, working with Prince on the music video Kiss, Eddie Murphy on Coming to America, Will Smith on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Paul Abdul, to name a few, I realized, they got inspired by somebody. I would love to hear their story, right? And then I realized that dancers were going into depression because they didn't know what to do live after dance. So that's when I wanted to put some sunlight on them and also be a teaching tool for the baby dancers out there, but also let them know, these are the dancers that paved the way for you, right? And then I was dealing with out-of-control eczema. It took me 3 years to find a healthy solution, and I became a health advocate. Getting testimonials coming in, I realized that everybody has a story. And that's how I created the show, Tell Me Your Story with Monique Mannon. What is your story? I would love to hear it because everybody has a story.
Hey everybody, I'm Julie McDonald, and I'm on Tell Me Your Story with Monique Mannon. I hope you all tune in and remember to do things that make you smile.
But, just for fun, who, just name it for them. Who are some of the clients that you have that they might know and they might?
Well, here's some of my clients that I've represented for over 25 years. I think that they deserve a mention for their loyalty.
Right.
And Kenny Ortega, Vincent Patterson,
Yes.
Jamie King, sort of big names. Marguerite Derricks.
Okay, I got to say something about that. Kenny Ortega, High School Musical, Michael Jackson, Vince Patterson, Michael Jackson, Madonna. So this is some big gigs here.
Yeah,
you
Jamie
guys.
King, Madonna, and just big credits,
Yes,
you know.
yes.
And Marguerite Derrick's Marvelous Mrs. Maisel,
love that
and
show. Oh my goodness.
all the Austin Powers movies,
Right.
and yeah.
She represented some powerhouses, you guys, and still is representing some powerhouses.
Just some really, I mean, I'll just
And
stick
you have a
with those
lot of
four people.
choreographers, so you think you can dance, choreographing.
We had a lot of people on So You Think You Can Dance.
Can I tell you how much I love that?
And that show was so great.
Can I
I wish it
tell
would
you?
come back.
I remember this one moment, and Nigel stopped the show because Desmond Richardson was in the audience.
Oh, I represent Desmond Richardson.
I love him. He's going to be a guest. He's going to be a guest. I'm so excited.
Oh,
Yes.
he's my client.
Yes, I love him.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So anyway, so he stopped So You Think You Can Dance finals so he can introduce the world to Desmond Richardson. I mean, of course, people in the dance world know Desmond Richardson, and that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this show, because I really feel like everybody needs to know Julie McDonald, Desmond Richardson, and so that's exactly why. And I was so excited that he did that. He was like, you guys, you don't know. This guy is an amazing dancer. He's a phenomenal dancer. And
Well,
and
that's
they
the
don't
brilliance
do
of
that
that's
for
the
dancers. And it
that's the
was so-
brilliance of that show, and that's the
Yes.
brilliance of why of Nigel. This is why that show was so good, because it was produced by dancers.
Yes.
I mean, Nigel.
Just the respect that you
Yes,
saw there.
and the way he would introduce all the choreographers.
Yes.
I mean, lots of shows, they don't do that.
Right.
They just think that dance makes itself up, but the choreographers were the stars of that
Right.
show.
They start getting
They
Emmy
were all-
nominations.
Oh,
Come
no,
on.
there's huge stars that came out of the shows. Tabitha Napoleon, who
Yes, I
we
love
represent.
them, yeah.
So there's a lot of stars that came out of that
Yeah.
show. Right now, I would just have to say some of the clients, my biggest clients now are Jamal Sims. He choreographed the movie Aladdin, and does everything with RuPaul. We represent Chloe Arnold from Syncopated Ladies. She's working a lot.
Right.
We have some wonderful younger new clients
Yeah.
like Megan Lawson, who I adore.
Right. I'm sure my daughter will know.
Sean Liu, who, I mean, these are all, you can find them all on
Oh, that's
Instagram
awesome.
and stuff like that, you know.
This is the real deal, you guys. She's the real deal.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Any advice that you have for upcoming dancers, choreographers, or savvy businesswomen like yourself, for people that are like, oh, I would love to own some kind of agency, some kind of representation that I would like to be part of? Any advice?
Well, I would say that if you want to go into the representation business, you have to pick a field that you know really, really, really well.
And passionate
and
about.
I was going to say, and have a big passion for. I mean, you know, everybody has agents now. Whoever thought that chefs would have representation?
Right.
But they do, because somebody said, I'm going to represent chefs.
Right.
So if you want to go into management or agenting, you just have to find one thing that you're passionate about, or one person that you're passionate about.
Or pioneer like you did. Find a niche that hasn't that covered yet.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. If there are that, I think there probably are.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's all about how much you love something, because it takes a huge amount of effort and work and stick to it.
Sacrifices.
And sacrifice. And you just have to know that you just have to persevere through thick and thin. It has not been all an easy ride, believe me. It's been, I mean, I have weathered 5 different agencies opening up, losing clients, and through it all, I just have decided, you know, things are going to be okay, because I'm just going to stick to what I do, stick to what I do best.
That's right.
And it's
You know your lane.
and it's always paid off
Right.
through some of the most adverse times, and including the pandemic, where we're really busy now and
good.
excited about the future.
Oh. And for dancers that possibly want to contact you, what is the advice? How to contact you?
Well, we have a website,
Okay.
which is msa.com.
We'll put the link. No,
Yeah.
no worries.
You can put the link on
Yeah.
it, and there is a place on that website where you can submit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
any advice for them, you know, because there's a lot of dancers out there. This is just my opinion, right? There's a lot of dancers that technically are brilliant. So if you're technically brilliant, start working on also your performance level, because that is the money shot.
She knows because she was.
That's
a great
the money
performer.
shot.
She was a great performer. I mean, there's certain choreographers who go just for technique,
Yeah.
or certain jobs require that.
Right.
But in the entertainment business, they are going for stars, people who shine.
Yeah.
And this is why you have to love it, because it's not worth doing unless you love it. So yes, you have to work on your performance, and who cares how perfect you do something in audition? You've got to find a way to stand out.
Exactly.
You do.
And the easy one to do that is truly love. Because if you love it, the person that's watching it is going to love it as well, right? Because they're going to go like, oh, look at the joy.
When you're auditioning, the people who you're auditioning for, they want you to be it. They'd like to go home.
Right.
So they're looking for people. They don't want to sit there all day looking
Right.
for those few people that shine.
Right.
It can be you.
That's right.
That's it.
That's it. Oh, I love it. I love it. What makes you smile?
Well, I'm having a really good time right now.
No, I was going to say that, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to, you know, pursue, you know.
I'm having a really good time right now.
I know.
I love my puppy, and I'm going to a Dodger game tonight.
Oh, you love baseball.
I love baseball.
Yeah.
And I love the Dodgers, so
Oh.
yeah. In fact, I have a whole project that I want to do about baseball and ballet. There's so many similarities when you look at some of the physical movement.
Right. Well, there's a lot of athletes that will hire dance teachers, yoga teachers, Pilates teachers, because movement.
Yeah.
I remember that football player. I don't know. if you
Lynn
like football.
Swan.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
He's the only one that everybody knows, but I'm sure other people
But
have
no,
taken...
but I forgot his name. But I love him because he moves like a gazelle, and he's a big dude. My son is going to kill me.
Wasn't
that
it
I can't-
Lynn Swan?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, so there's another one?
Oh yeah, that moves like a gazelle.
Oh, I would love to know who it is.
I know. I will. I'm going to mention that name in the comments. I promise. Because I just love the way he moves. So that makes me notice him. And
Well, football players, they're the ones on Dancing with the Stars. And they have very good footwork, as you
Yes,
know.
yes.
I don't know. Baseball players, I don't know about them. They're graceful, but I see the grace and the beauty in what they do.
Right. Because they're athletes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
dancers finally got the honor of being called
And
athletes.
hip hop dance is now an Olympic sport starting in
Stop it.
2 years, yeah, or 4 years, 28.
Really?
2028, yeah.
Is there anything secretly that you have fought for that we didn't know?
Oh
Please
yeah,
share.
oh yeah.
Please share.
No. The biggest fight is representation for choreographers in film and television, and primarily film and television, music videos and commercial, all media. They do not have a guild or a union.
I'm so glad you brought it up
And-
because I remember when we talked last time, you were mentioning it because she's absolutely right. Because when we do a commercial or whatever, we get residual checks, but they were not getting that, were they?
Not unless they put themselves on camera. Oh. No. It's not just. It's commercials are just a small part of it.
So,
but film and
so the Michael Jackson
we have-
videos go to eternity and they don't get residual checks for that?
They get nothing, and not only that.
That's the biggest crime right now. Well, one of them.
No, it's terrible.
It's terrible.
It is terrible because if you can imagine creating the movement for Smooth Criminal or Beat It, and that is, anybody can use that. They have no legal rights they do not own their work.
Were you able to get a solution for that?
No. First of all, there is a solution. I mean, choreographers who work on the stage, they have a union, and it's brilliant. They own their work. So right now, at this particular time in history, I would say for the first time since the late 80s, when we did make a real concerted effort, the SDC came out to LA to try to unionize. The SDC is the union in New York that represents stage choreographers,
Right.
directors and choreographers. They came out, they got the whole community riled up, people joined, and then the whole thing fizzled because it didn't get recognized by the producers. So at this exact moment, there's a lot of movement about forming a guild. So I'm really
Wonderful.
excited about that.
So the choreographers and directors are protected.
Not the directors. Directors have plenty of protection.
Yes.
The choreographers.
Okay.
The DGA is not interested in taking them. SAG, you can get a choreographer can get a SAG contract for a feature film where they'll get their pension and health paid, but there's no other. There's no residuals. There's no credit provisions. There's nothing.
Oh,
But they
wow.
can at least get their pension and health through a SAG contract. But we are working on forming a guild, like the other crafts guilds, like the
Right.
costumers, like the cinematographers,
Right,
like
right.
the art
like
directors.
music writing, the music.
Well, they've got their.
They have theirs.
They have theirs.
Yeah,
So-
because I would love to use for my theme song. This is me from The Greatest Showman. I love that song because to me it says it all. Because this is me, this is you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you came from being a dancer, 15, worked your way up, and now you have embodied this all, and now you can say, "This is me."
This is me.
That's right, right? But because it's too expensive, the song is too expensive because you have to pay royalties.
right.
And that's what the choreographers need. They need to get their royalties.
Well, they need to get their royalties, but I think that's going to be the hardest thing to get because nobody gets royalties. And none of these guilds get royalties. The costumers don't get royalties. Nobody gets royalties. But there are other things that they can get. We can set minimum wage. We can set overtime. We can set requirements for assistance. We can set usage of work. So basically, if you use the work in another medium,
You got it? Pay up.
there's a lot of things. There's
Right.
credit provisions. I think it's going to be really difficult to get royalties, but that's what everybody wants, and we'll see what happens. I just know that nobody else gets that.
Right.
But
right.
we'll see what happens. This is a little bit of a
So
different craft.
this is still going to be your fight.
This is the last fight for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
This is the last fight
And a
for me.
needed one. But a needed
Well,
one.
it's people. I've seen people weep for what's going on right now.
Yeah.
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 The anger, the absolute frustration about people's work being used in another
Yeah.
medium without any kind of compensation or acknowledgement.
Okay, is there one more thing that you're proud that you achieved?
I would have to say myself, along with the other agents and Dancers Alliance, was finally getting SAG to cover dancers.
Meaning
for film.
dancers have a union now,
Well, they always had a union for television under AFTRA,
but not film.
not film. And that was a huge
Huge.
thing. So now all the dancers on a SAG film.
That means residual checks, guys.
That's right.
That means
But they
it goes
don't-
into your pension.
But they don't remember the days when they were treated like terribly, like they would put you guys all in a tent somewhere,
Yeah.
barely feed you, give you, wouldn't take care of you at all because you were treated as extras.
Yes.
Oh, that was just horrible. So that was major accomplishment. I did not
Yes.
do that alone,
Yes.
but that was major accomplishment. And yeah,
Thank you so much for your time.
That was
and
so much
sharing
fun.
your baby with me.
this is Mookie, everybody.
And then please subscribe, like, hit that bell, and so that way you get notification when the next one is. And remember, do things that make you smile.
Tell me your story. Never ever let life hold you down. Tell me your story. Don't worry, be happy, down, upside, frown. Tell me your story. Motivation, inspiration, uplifting and giving. Tell me your story. Inspiration, motivation, it's your life, so keep living. Tell me your story. Never ever let life hold you down. Tell me your story. Don't worry, be happy, down, upside, frown. Tell me your story. Motivation, inspiration, uplifting and giving. Tell me your story. Inspiration, motivation, it's your life, so keep living. Young black girl.